so-called dissent. We don't know what was said. I asked my players.
Good afternoon, everyone. What game? What an afternoon. Thanks everyone for sticking around after. So let's start with questions in the room. I'll leave the mic.
Gareth, how do you sum up your emotions after that one this afternoon?
Oh, my emotions. Right, it's an interesting one. I thought you were going to say, how do I sum up the game? Which is, there's a lot. There's a lot in that game. No, my emotions are super proud of the team. I thought we were fantastic. I thought we started the game amazingly well. We, I had a feeling that we'd overrun them today, and we started the game on the front foot. That we would, put them under high pressure, and we did, and we scored, and we looked like we were going to score every time we got into the box. I felt then we had a period where we maybe sat off a little bit and allowed too many crosses to come into the box, few too many corners against us. And then obviously the game changer is obviously the red card to Alex. Kind of had the feeling with the referee that given I think it was Neve Charles, took an early one, which looked really soft. And then I think sometimes the officials in their mind think, well, we need to even this up. And then all of a sudden, everything you do is like a yellow card. So it seems like we've gone from like here to here straight away in clamping down. And it's the same with the minutes. The minutes just seem to go on and on and on. And, we're playing evening games and no one's going to be able to get home. But super proud of the team. I thought the way we handled everything that they tried to throw at us, we did it exceptionally well. Unfortunately, we have Alana off the pitch at the moment that they score, but I felt, that's my feeling, is really proud of the team. We were tremendous.
Do you believe that Alex Greenwood was wasting time, and was she given any kind of warning beforehand?
I don't know. I mean, I've heard it was 20 seconds. 20 seconds between the free kick being given to us and then her making her mind up as to what to do. And for those who played the game, I think when you stood on the ball there, you look at your options to the side, to the other side, forward, backwards. You move around the ball a little bit. It seemed just a weird time for us to be wasting time with probably 12 minutes to go before half time. So, look, it's like I say, we're going to probably end up, if we're consistent throughout the season in terms of this refereeing and this new stance, I think we're going to have a lot of games maybe today like that are kind of 8v8. I felt the same last weekend with Hansen and Layla's red cards. Neither of those are violent conduct. But look, I think the overriding message I want to make is that our supporters were amazing today. We really heard them. They really drove us on, and the players were top class. And if we perform like that, with that heart and that togetherness this season, we'll do good things.
Yeah, do you think you've proved today that you can be up there challenging?
Well, we've always been up there. We've always been there or thereabouts.
In terms of the title race, though?
Absolutely. We were there last season and we just came up short when we suffered with key members being missing and little injuries and maybe not be having the bench that we wanted. I look around and now and see the bench and the quality that we have there and the quality we have on the pitch, and yeah, we're in a good place is what I would say. And like I say, I felt we attacked the game really well today, got on the front foot, and yeah, proud of the team, proud of the supporters and the way they really pushed us.
Thanks, Gareth.
Sandra next.
Hi, Gareth. Yes, I just wanted to ask, just in terms of Khiara Keating, I mean, how do you feel about her performance today and how she handled herself with, obviously the team going down to 10 and then 9, just what display in the box?
Yeah, she was great. She's very, very good to work with, Khiara. She's, we have 3 different types of goalkeepers and they all bring different things and they all have different qualities. And I think what we've seen in this pre-season and the games that we've had is that she does a lot of good things in a lot of areas. She makes saves, she comes for crosses, she's got safe hands, she's good with her distribution, both short and long. And yeah, she was top today. And when you go down to 9 players, I think ultimately that the goalkeeper's going to be busy. But quick off the line, slowed the game down when she needed to. And she's young, she's going to make some mistakes, some errors, can get a bit excited at times, but she's great to work with. And I thought her performance was brilliant today.
Yeah, Gareth, I know you don't want to talk too much about the red cards, but did it ruin the game for you? You know, from like a spectator.
I don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it ruined the game for me, especially. I think it did for everyone. I spoke to Emma at the end and or midway through half time, and we just looked at each other, and it's just I don't know. Listen, if they need to be given, and players have offended for one reason or another, then fair enough. But I just think it spoils things. You know, both teams would have come out today with a game plan, and then all of a sudden, 10 minutes before half time, everything changes and the momentum shifts. But we saw a different side today, and it's gonna, with 3 red cards in 2 games, it's gonna send a message if anyone is not watching us play that we're a dirty team. But I think anyone who's watched us in the last 2 games would never say that. I think we are a good young team that maintain possession of the ball really well, are exciting to watch, and we would like to keep 11 players on the pitch. So I think, like I say, if there is consistency, most of the games we're going to see a lot of that. Where there's yellow cards, red cards.
You talked a bit earlier about the new rules or the emphasis on the referee in terms of time wasting and so forth. You called said from here to here. I mean, but it was quite clear from the beginning of the season what the referee's edicts were. So in terms of your own club's discipline, I mean, do you not take that on board? I mean, 4 of your players were yellow carded for dissent following dissent.
Well, so-called dissent. So-called dissent. We don't know what was said. I asked my players.
I agree, but nevertheless, they were yellow carded. So is there a sense of indiscipline or lack of understanding? Perhaps?
I was yellow carded.
Sorry?
I was yellow carded as well.
You were yellow carded.
I was yellow carded, yeah. Because I asked.
So is there a sense of indiscipline based on the new edict?
Well, again, like I said to you before, if you don't watch us in the last 2 games, then it would appear that way. That's an easy assumption to make. But like I say, we have gone from here to here. They have come in and spoken about, more so on this one, which I don't like, obviously, in which they're trying to squash. I don't see any female player doing that.
Is this something you need to sort of instead in your players?
Well, we're going to have to change a lot of things, or they're going to have to change, and I'm just not sure that there's enough kind of allowance, or maybe allowance is the wrong word, or kind of like feeling around the game. That's not that game is pretty subdued today. Midway through the first half, we're controlling the play at the back, and I'm looking at it going, you know, this is not the fiery hustle and bustle game I thought it was going to be at the beginning. And then all of a sudden things change. You know, you do that, and then that creates frustration. So I think Alex's yellow card, the second one, creates frustration in the team. This is why I get a yellow card. I'm not saying it's right, because I'm trying to be a bit calmer this season and stay away from the game. But look, I just think, yeah, we have to deal with it. I think you're going to have a lot of coaches sat here in my position saying the same thing. But it brings different things. And it brought different things last weekend for us as well. And I have to say the players were superb. In the 2 games, they've been unbelievable.
Do you think it's consistent though? Because there was obviously the foul from
Ashley Lawrence. Yeah, it's not intentional. She doesn't know Lauren's coming. But she's ended up doing like a cartwheel almost, because she's gone to play the ball and taken Lauren. With all of the yellow cards that were out there today, how's that one not? But look, you know, it is.
Would you say it wasn't consistent?
When I talk about consistency, I'm talking about, let's see what happens now for the rest of the games. Let's see the other games up and down the country today. Let's see some of the challenges. Let's see some of the communication between the officials and the players, and the officials and the staff. Let's see. That's all we want is consistency. And you don't want consistency of bad decisions. Of course not. And everyone makes a mistake. Coaches, players, referees. You know, we appealed Layla's last week, and like I said to you, I didn't think either of those challenges, the Villa challenge or ours, were violent conduct. We appeal, but instead of going, yeah, do you know what, maybe we got that wrong, rescinded to a yellow, it stays as a red card, which is, so I go, right, okay, let's be consistent then. Let's be consistent. But to answer your question, you'd probably say, well, that should have been a yellow card today for Lawrence. Should be a yellow card.
Hi, Gareth. When
Yeah, I think they self-regulate, or hopefully self-regulate. But you don't want to be talking about that at half time. And again, I think Emma would have been talking to her players about it. And I did, in so much as I knew that there were a couple of others on yellows, like Lauren, like Jill. I think maybe Angadal. I'm not sure. It was hard to keep count. But yeah, I think it's something that the players need to. If this is going to be the way, then we need to learn quickly, and all of the players will.
Just finally, after Alex was sent off, you kept the team as it was until well after half time. You kind of did everything quick. So was that sort of to let the team just carry on, and didn't want to disrupt the play, or?
I thought Lauren was great at left back. I mean, look, you just never know sometimes, but we had the situation last week where we knew we had to move into a shape that was successful for us last week. We did the same today and it was successful for us, and then all of a sudden when you have another red card, it's a problem, and then you've really got to manage things in the right way. Do you commit a couple more players forward? Even with 9 players, I think Bunny has a really good chance towards the end of the game. So look, it's so difficult to play in those moments when your player's down. But again, I have to say the players were fantastic with it.
Gareth, I think you were about to explain what your yellow was for, and you said so-called dissent. Are you suggesting that maybe the dissent wasn't what we would expect to be dissent, foul language and threats?
Yeah, there was no foul language.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite I'm quite good with the language, but no. Look, I try to be as respectful as I possibly can. I've not approached the referee after the game or at half time. My frustration was that it seemed on one particular moment for the corner for Chelsea that the referee couldn't really make a decision, waits for the team that probably appealed the most, and then, because it was a real contentious one, and it could have been a corner for Chelsea, I don't know. And then is when I turned to the fourth official and said, who's in charge of the game here? Who's making the decisions? And I was yellow carded for it, and probably rightly so. I was animated. I was, because, you want to be there with your players, and it's so difficult that, your players are there and they're raining down balls into the box, and we're defending with our lives, and it's so hard for me to be completely cut apart from it on the sidelines. But yeah, like I say, the togetherness today with the team was so good.
It was 11 bookings and 2 sendings off out there, and not a bad tackle to be seen, really. I mean, surely this can't go on, as you say, for the rest of the season. You can't carry on like that, because if there had been bad tackles, we'd have ended up 6-a-side.
Well, we either need to commit to it or not. So you say it can happen, but why go backwards if that's the way you want it to be? If the officials are saying, well, that's a yellow card, this is a red card, this is violent conduct, then we're going to have that, aren't we? I think it's and that's all we want as coaches, is to be, we want it to be consistent throughout.
When the referees came to you and sort of outlined this is how it's going to be, do you feel like do you think there'd benefit from more conversations with the players kind of speaking to the officials? Because some of the yellow cards for dissent, like Lauren Hemp for a corner, it's almost like a natural reaction to a appeal decision sometimes, and it's like you can easily say, all right, okay, don't say anything ever, but it's very difficult to when you feel like maybe a number of decisions are going against you.
I think when it's always been that way, isn't it, that you can appeal, and I love what they do in rugby because it's maximum respect. I love that maybe only the captain can be the one to maybe not even challenge. I think it's done really respectfully. But I think for football to go all the way to there is going to be so hard. That's a big jump. And players are still going to be, it's like when the back pass rule was invented, that you can make, still players are falling foul of that at times. So when they make drastic changes like this, I think it can be quite difficult. And at the moment we're seeing quite a lot of those types. But again, and you guys mentioned it, that it wasn't 11 yellow cards, 2 reds, and not a malicious game at all.
I think some of the players in the house was in a few weeks ago that had main frustration was that you can't actually talk to the officials as a player. There seems to be sort of like an almost like a barrier, perhaps a lack of understanding between the officials and the players, where the players don't want to, they're not trying to have a go at the referee, they just want to understand why a decision's been given, or do they need to get in a room and have a conversation? Is that how?
Well, we've done that. I mean, most of the queries from the girls was around the offside rule, because that was really complex and we couldn't understand what was offside and what wasn't offside. So a lot of the questions were aimed at that, but they never really they spoke about the time wasting, about wanting to get the ball back in play quickly, and even the fourth official was putting the ball back in play 3 times for Chelsea today. So it's we've got to be careful that we're just not You know, we're trying to give fans value for money. Obviously, a lot of people would, the officials will go away today and say they've had loads of value for money for what they paid. You've had everything in that game. But yeah, I just think that we things need to move and progress and where we need to get it to. And listen, I'm all about respect. You know, and like I said to you, it's such a hard job for the officials, such a difficult one, especially when you've got players coming at you and maybe staff. But we'd like to think that we're quite respectful on that front, that we don't go OTT like some do. But I just think that, you know, let's move it a little bit slower than going from here to here straight away. Because if not, we're just going to have an 8-a-side league, unfortunately, if they're consistent. Again, I don't know. I mean, the referees don't want to give yellow cards. I'm pretty certain they don't want to give red cards. But they're obviously told by their bosses, that's a yellow, that's a whatever. And yeah, I think it's no one wants to see, you know, 8v8, 8v9, 11v8, 11v9, whatever it is. I don't think so anyway. I think it's, you know, we never train that. But you know, we've had 2 situations in 2 games now where we've had to deal with it, and the players have dealt with it so well. And maybe it's something we need to train a little bit more. But I think quite a few teams now be training that scenario of down to 10 men, down to 9 players, you know, 8 players, whatever it is. No one wants to be doing that, you know. Yeah. Yeah. It is frustrating because it's an emotional game, yeah. But I think, the fans don't. They want to applaud the players, and they did today. You know, both sets of supporters were really good. Our fans were super loud. They really got behind the team. They applauded the team for their efforts, and yeah, they don't want to be directing their attention to the referee, whether the referee's made a good decision or not. You know, we want to just encourage the teams as much as we can. But it's such an emotional game, isn't it? Like, this is why we do it. This is why I coach. This is why I get up out of bed tomorrow morning, is because I enjoy working with players and I'm passionate about what we do and how we play and the improvements that you can make to individuals that help the team. You know, if you take that away and we all become robots, then it's like, it's so difficult. It's so difficult. But we want to help. We want to help. And honestly, it's hard for me because I sit in front of you guys now. I need to go back and review, look at the decisions that happen. And if it's the case where I go, do you know what? And if I feel that my girls have been chatting out of line, whether Jill did at halftime as she's coming off, whether Lauren did, then for certain I'll be down on top of them to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Just in terms of your squad, Gareth, I think a few eyebrows raised when you only made 1 addition to the squad, but do you think that's helped you with your start? You've had the way you got about Chelsea today, the continuity in the squad going forward, where other teams like United and Chelsea have got new players bedding in.
Yeah, well, we had that last year on a big scale. You know, not 4 or 5. You know, we lost 10 players last season at the beginning from the squad that we had before. So we analysed, obviously now you want to try and secure good young players for longer in their contracts so that you can work with them and develop them rather than having to restart every summer. So I think it was something that we were confident in, that the likes of Dana, Kirsten Kasparai, Layla, Laya, coming from different environments, different countries, would take time to settle. And unfortunately in the WSL it's so tough because you have very little pre-season and then you have 22 games to play and you don't get time to be a little bit inconsistent. You need players to try and hit the ground running, and always felt with this team that we would get there and we'd start to show really good versions of ourselves, which I think we have this season. And yeah, Jill brings quality, of course, and I think bringing Jill into this environment where it's a settled group and the players know each other has really helped her as well.
Just on Ellie Roebuck, there's a little bit of confusion. So you thought she was suspended for the games. I think she was on the social graphic last week with the team. Can you clear up why she wasn't?
No, she wasn't. No, she's not got a suspension at all, Ellie. no. We've got 3 good goalkeepers, and they all bring different things. And you know, the competition for places is really high. We analyse the opponents we're playing against, and yeah, of course, you know, we've been working with Sandy and Khiara quite a bit in the pre-season because we had them for a little bit longer. Obviously, Ellie was away with England, so it's about trying to get players up to speed as much as we possibly can. But each one of those 3 are really well thought of in for us, really valued by us. But obviously, because now we have obviously outfield players that we can use in one of those spots rather than have 2 goalkeepers, people start making assumptions. But no, I'm really pleased with the 3 goalkeepers we've got. Like I say, they all bring different qualities.
Sorry, can I just clarify then? Because she obviously was sent off in the penultimate game of last season, so why is it that she's not currently serving this suspension? Was it just the one game that she missed last season, and is that the right thing? It's
No idea. Yeah, no idea.
Okay, but you've been told outright that she isn't suspended.
I've not been told anything. Not been told. Not been told. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks everyone. Is that all the questions in the room? No, go for it. Sorry, one question. One question.
You started so well. I was just wondering if you could give your thoughts just on how your midfield played in the first, or when you had 11.
Yeah, of course. We try to get switches of play against most teams. We did that quite well. You know, I still felt that there were moments where we could keep possession of the ball a little bit more, but we wanted to threaten him behind. And sometimes with Chelsea, because they're quite aggressive and they want to jump players forward, that we get the opportunity to put the ball in behind. Now, it might not always be to feet, but we can certainly put them under pressure and regain the ball high up the pitch. But yeah, it's a work in progress. Absolutely. Our midfielders, we got good options in there now, you know, with the likes of Laura, with Dana, with Philippa, with Jill, Yui, and also Ruby Mace, you know. So she made a big contribution when she entered the game today, because she gives us that energy, she gives us that physicality in midfield. So we have good options, and yeah, I was probably more impressed with them probably when we went down to 9 players, you know, particularly Yui, and the way she anticipated the play and kept the ball when we needed to.